And my smokes.
As much as I love the AVs, I'm really starting to think we need some new theme music.
I concur.
You know, maybe it's not that bad on the listening end, but I'll tell you what, on Sunday morning when I'm editing this,
Yeah.
and you listen to that same 15 seconds like over and over and over again, trying to line it up with our audio, like I
Yeah.
can pick out individual instruments. Like I hate Tom Banks and his piano. I hate Mike Casey and whatever instrument he's
Right.
playing.
Saxophone.
That's it, yes. And sometimes bass, too.
Yeah.
Remember we had that little pieces of colored tape on the neck of the bass?
Right.
So Casey, it's blue, blue, green, blue, green. Blue, blue, green, blue,
Right.
green.
And who knew? That was the basis for fucking Rockstar and Guitar Hero.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Again, another lost $1 million idea that we had in high school.
So far ahead of our time.
Right.
But anyways, hey, good evening, everybody. If you're looking at a map of the United States, I am Mike Eshelman. I'm over on the right-hand side of it.
I'm Tom Arnholt. I'm over out on the left there.
And tonight is what I like to call a very special episode of Bones Corner Coast to Coast.
Doo, 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 doo.
Where we don't have anybody else to talk to.
No.
We don't have any drug-addled rampages that we're going to make fun of. But
No.
Tom found a way to take one article and shit on the entire nation at once. And then also, there's a pretty good chance that we're also going to badmouth your personal tastes.
Mm-hmm.
So
I'm nothing if not efficient.
It was beautiful in its simplicity. So what Tom found, well, do you want to just read the article? Not the whole fucking list, but like the header part, and then we can dive into it?
Yeah, let me pull it up over here.
Sure.
Okay. What's the most overrated TV show by state? We all have that TV show that we just don't get in terms of popularity. And that led the website reviews.org to poll Americans by state to see which popular shows they think are the most overrated. Long story short, 8 states named Parks and Recreation as the most overrated show. That's the most by state. However, by population, because tiny Rhode Island doesn't like Parks and Rec, but by population, Rick and Morty had the most overall votes as most overrated. That included states such as Maine, Wyoming, Arizona. So yeah, Rick and Morty was voted the most overrated TV show. Some extra little stats that we'll dig into more. Little factoids, as they say. 64% of women said Game of Thrones is overrated. So no love for nudity and dragons. 60% of men said Friends is overrated.
Mm-hmm.
And on average, people over 54 said every show on the list was overrated, and they voted that 64% of the time.
Yeah. The people over 54 are, I think, the most right out of everybody that they polled.
Yeah, I would probably agree, because, like MASH wasn't on the list.
Right.
WKRP in Cincinnati wasn't on the list. Those are great shows.
So, first, before we jump into who's right and who's wrong, in the article, I went to the link that they provided on IMDb to provide the top 100 most watched shows. And it's made by some random user that signed up 2 years ago. Yeah. And so it doesn't even... Okay, so his top 3. Game of Thrones, Stranger Things, Walking Dead. But the votes don't even jive. Like, the votes don't go down incrementally. They're all over the place. So I don't know where they got this list, but the fact that so many states pick the same things, though, that seems to make sense.
Yeah, there's a continuity there that does make sense.
Right.
And a lot of I kind of agree with a lot of these picks. Not a lot, some.
I'm about half, but, well, let's dig into it. What, starting with the one that 8 states picked, Parks and Rec, do you think that's overrated or not?
I don't. I think it's a delightful show.
I agree wholeheartedly with you.
Absolutely loved it. That's the thing with Parks and Rec. That hit the air here in the States when we were living in Germany. So we had heard about it and had not actually seen it. One of the fun things about British television is they do get American programming, but it's sort of like it's like Ballamore, not Ballamore. It's like oh, what the hell? I don't know. It's like a unicorn. Some days, like we were started watching Game of Thrones and we saw episode 1 and 2, and then it just disappeared. Same thing with Parks and Rec. It would just pop up. Right. So we never knew what season it was, and so it gets frustrating, and so you just stop watching it. Parks and Rec, like I said, was kind of that. It was like, well, this looks kind of quirky and fun, but then it disappeared. And so it wasn't until we got back to the States, a few years ago, that we were able to just binge it. And yeah, it's a great show.
I agree wholeheartedly. I just recently, like within the past month, I'd say, rewatched all of it from beginning to end.
Yeah.
And it's still so good. I mean, you have a talented cast, you have great writing. Just the characters were so fun. There was nobody that was downright like mean in the show. And it was a joy to watch. I think part of the reason a lot of people were turned off by it was because remember when it came out originally here in the States, it was right near the middle to the end of The Office. And I think viewers were turned off by that fake documentary camera work. So it was just too much of that.
That was my thought too, is that it was probably perceived by most audiences that, oh, they're trying to be The Office, but funnier or less,
right.
Less that I don't know, the humor of The Office is greatly, much different than Parks and Rec. Parks and Rec's a lot more quirky and fun.
Yes, and it was. I mean, there weren't any characters that you could say, oh God, I fucking hate when that person's on the screen.
Right.
Just because they're caricatures of people you may or may not know. So I'm going to have to agree with you. Those 8 states are absolutely wrong, and they don't know what they're talking about.
Right? So, fuck you, Colorado.
Yeah, all right, let's take a look. Who said Parks and Rec? Colorado, fuck off.
Kansas.
What do
Nobody cares what you feel. Sit down, Kansas.
Minnesota, okay. Missouri. New Mexico. New Mexico's all right, but
they're all wackadoodles in New Mexico too.
Oregon and Rhode Island. Yeah, right on.
Rhode Island. Get over yourselves.
All right, so what about the second batch then? The actual by population. Rick and Morty overrated or not?
I don't think so. Again, I think it's fantastic.
It's a great show. And honestly, there's only 4 seasons of it.
Yeah.
Now, not that I participate in like pop culture all that much, but I don't see it a lot out there. It's not like you don't go to Target and everything is Rick and Morty branded.
Yeah, no, it's kind of still got that underground, Adult Swim kind of thing to it, where it's like, nah, you just kind of know somebody to find out about Rick and Morty.
It's true.
Rick and Morty is one of those things like you would show up to school and go, hey, there's this new cartoon. It's like that's a totally like Esh found this kind of show.
It's true. It's funny. Again, it's Dan Harmon, so it reminds me a lot of Community, where it's not necessarily a sitcom per se, but it's more he's critiquing the entire genre.
Yeah.
It's like a commentary on contemporary television is what he's creating. So if you watch it through that lens, it's just an amazing show.
Yeah, I agree. Dan Harmon. Again, Community, not on the list. So
right?
Not overrated at all. I'm like on my 3rd watch through of that. I mean, it's just that show never gets old.
Honestly, I stopped watching it when it was live. When it became more and more absurd. Like after, I think the last episode I watched live was the Pillow Fort
Yeah.
versus the Blanket Town versus
yeah.
Pillow Fort. Yes.
And they did the Civil War documentary.
Yeah, the Ken Burns. Now, when I was watching that, I'm like, all right, this is Jump the Shark. This is stupid as hell.
Yeah.
And I just gave up on it. But then when it showed up on Netflix a few months ago, like all of it, I thought, all right, I'll give this another shot. And then again, watching it through that lens where he's not making a sitcom, he's making a commentary.
A comment, yeah.
The show was hilarious, and I was just hooked and watched it all the way through and loved every moment of it.
Yeah, it's one of those shows that it's smart, clever, and hilarious for everything that isn't on the screen.
Yes.
You know, it's like the joke is happening between your ears, you know, sort of a thing.
Exactly. So, okay, so all of those states are wrong on Rick and Morty, so you guys can fuck off too.
Arizona, Arkansas, suck the root.
Wow, damn.
You know who you are. Fucking Maine.
Yeah, so you're all wrong. Let's see. For the Rick, blah, blah, blah. Okay, 64% of women said Game of Thrones is overrated.
Again, I disagree except for the last season.
The last few.
The last half of the last season.
All right, so I can see why women don't like it. I mean, it's this long, drawn-out political intrigue drama that's like wrapped in this tender gossamer bow of boobs and fire and violence and dragons.
Yeah.
So
it's perfect.
It's awesome, but at the same time, man, it should have ended years before it did.
Yeah.
At its peak, yes, it may have been overrated because that's all people talked about. And that's one, too, that if you went into a Target, everything had the fucking Stark logo on it, you know?
So in that respect, yeah, I will agree that it was overrated. It was completely overblown. It was a good show.
It was.
But, yeah, it wasn't, you know, the hours of reaction video type good. It's a good God. Yeah, I mean, we would wait for it, and we enjoyed it. I mean, Sarah and I both. I mean, you know, she wasn't put off by tits and dragons. So
100% of the women you polled said it wasn't overrated.
Correct. I'm sorry, my numbers don't jive with what this guy's putting out.
Come on, reviewers.org. Get your shit together.
God, no credibility. What the hell are they trying to pull?
Mm-hmm.
Arnholt.org's got different facts.
Arnholt.org. I would read the shit out of that website.
It's mostly like a coloring book.
I would buy extra monitors just to color on your website.
I should do that. It's a good idea.
You'll probably get better numbers than my Scratch and Sniff website.
Oh, see, I thought that was going to fly.
Who knew? All right, so we're saying, what are we up to? 15 states are wrong, and women are wrong. So the next bullet point they had, 60% of men said Friends is overrated.
Agreed.
Tick that box.
You know, I hate to be part of a populist movement, but I don't think they're wrong here.
Right? Now, I'll tell you what, the first couple seasons of that were really funny.
Yeah.
But whenever you have a sitcom that's based on a dichotomy of a group of men and women, the second you start pairing them off, that show's going to go downhill.
Yeah.
And it was so popular that there's no way they're going to get rid of it, and so they just ran it into the ground. I had to look this up because I didn't believe it. There were 236 episodes of that nightmare.
That's it?
That's it? That's a decade of TV.
It just seems... It seems like it was on... You can't escape it. It was everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
That seems like a low number.
TBS and everybody started syndicating that,
Yeah.
literally you couldn't flip through the dial and not hit it somewhere. It was on everywhere. But yeah,
Yeah.
that went. They started off great. They had a really funny cast. The writing was good, but then it just went downhill fast, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. It just is like, all right, well, it just became every week of these, these kind of entitled snowflakes bitching about stuff.
Yes.
I'm like, no.
Right?
Like, I've had close friends, and we did none of this fuckery.
No. And none of us had an apartment that nice either.
Right? We lived in squalor.
Yeah, and we lived in little packs like that too.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm not even going to stop at the people over 54 said everything is overrated, because they're fucking right. There's no arguing that point.
Yeah, there's nothing decent on anymore.
But honestly, I'm surprised they had this many shows, because there's just so much content out there.
There is now, yeah.
How can something get overrated like that? And maybe that's why they picked a lot of stuff that's been on for a long time. Because I don't keep up on Nielsen numbers, but are there like gangbuster shows anymore that's water cooler talk?
I'm trying to think. Aside from, I think, like the Bachelorette type crap and Kardashians, I think on network TV, those are the stuff that people talk about still.
Okay. All right. I'll give you that.
And I think, it's interesting that these are all network shows. These are all, regular,
right,
terrestrial network, old school TV versus, well, I guess Game of Thrones is HBO, but
Thrones,
that's cable.
Right.
But
non-streaming.
Yeah. Stranger Things isn't on here.
Right.
And that always got so much hype attached to it.
It does, but it's encapsulated though. Stranger Things is hot for about 3 weeks in the summer when it hits, and then everybody forgets that they watched it.
Everybody watches it, and then they move on.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, I think reading the list of 50 states is too much. So maybe let's just ding the shows that are on here. And we'll start off with the very first one on the list, The Walking Dead. What's your opinion of that? Overrated or not?
It became overrated. I think it started off really good. Because I'm a big fan of the comic, but I didn't find out about the comic until I got into the TV show. It's two different things that just sort of has the similar names and in a similar world. I know some people have a real problem when the TV show diverts so greatly from the source material. But I think
Game of Thrones,
right? Last season, Game of Thrones. What the fuck? But I think with Walking Dead, for me, it worked. Those first few seasons, I think, worked really well, and then it just got to the point where it's like, I don't think I saw a zombie in that episode.
Right?
It's like, wait a minute. Oh, but so-and-so's pregnant. Oh, what are you going to get for the baby? Wait a minute. What the fuck am I watching? Nobody died in that episode. What is this? What are they paying for?
Somewhere maybe 4 or 5 years ago, I quit watching about halfway through a season and then picked it up the following year.
Yeah.
And except for maybe 1 or 2 characters that I didn't recognize, nothing had fucking changed. So I think it's long in the tooth.
Yeah.
They should have quit while they were ahead. And now, I mean, there's already a spin-off with Fear of Walking Dead, which is good. Solid show. I like it.
That's not bad. I kind of, the thing with Fear of the Walking Dead, I'm not cool. I didn't like how they did the time jump.
Okay. Yeah, I could see that.
But I kind of see where they kind of had to, because the current story arc in the first season wasn't going anywhere.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So they kind of had to bring it forward, and I get it. And it worked. It worked, so.
And then they've got another spinoff coming out, I think this fall, maybe last I heard, if they finished filming it during the plague. And then like 3 movies about what happens to Rick after he gets on the helicopter.
Yeah.
All right, I don't give a shit. I'm so glad he's gone. He was, and comic book readers may fight until their last breath about how great he is, but on the TV show, he was fucking terrible.
Yeah.
I mean, a terrible leader. He made bad decisions,
Mm-hmm.
and he just moped around when the shit that he said was going to work didn't work.
Yeah.
So they should have put a bullet in his head years ago.
I'm really surprised they didn't.
Like, sorry, Tex, we took a vote. King!
Yeah.
Done. Yeah, so I will not be watching the movies. I'll give the spinoff a try just because I love zombie stories. It's an interesting genre to me.
Yeah.
And you can tell they're good when you can take the zombies out and replace them with any natural disaster, and the story still works.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
The first season of this, yes, absolutely. You could have made that anything, and it would have been a compelling story.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we're like 10 years into that now or something, and goddamn, I watch it, but it's more of a hate watch.
Yeah.
Like I despise myself so much that I will waste an hour a week sitting in front of that, just I don't know, just soaking up the vile hatred I have for it.
See, I'll get a wild hair. I haven't watched. I think I stopped watching it. The last one I watched was the Rick finale, and I haven't watched it since. So I'll probably get a wild hair here in the winter and do a binge catch up.
Gotcha.
Then we'll talk about it, and we'll be full of self-loathing.
Perfect. My favorite hobby.
Yes.
All right, so Alabama, Alaska, and a couple other states weren't that far off. Hawaii said The Walking Dead was the most overrated show?
Huh.
Okay. What else we got? Okay, here's one. Delaware. Big Bang Theory.
Again, one of those shows I think started off pretty good, pretty funny, and then just they realized they had a cash cow and the people were just going to watch this no matter what, and so they just kept making them long after the show should have ended. I think the first 3 seasons or so I thought were really were entertaining and funny, and then the joke just got old.
Okay. I'm going to have to divulge from you here and say I agree wholeheartedly with Delaware. I fucking hated that show.
Yeah.
I made it through maybe 1.5 episodes and could not watch it anymore. I hated the first off, laugh tracks. Fuck you.
Yeah.
There's no reason for those to exist anymore. Get rid of them. Just get rid of all of them.
Totally agree.
Yeah, but the show just grated on my nerves. And there have been shows, and there still are shows that sort of poke fun at geek culture.
Mm-hmm.
But this was actually poking fun at the people. It's like mean.
Yeah. I guess I can see that. I see where I totally see where you're coming from.
Yeah, and they built these caricatures out of people. I mean, fuck, that was me and the people that I hung out with when I was younger.
Yeah.
And got picked on for this shit. And now they're, they put them up on an altar just to poke them with sticks like they did Jesus on the cross.
Oh, goddamn.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
So, and just everything about it rubbed me the wrong way. And so when you sent this article over, I think, about a week ago, I thought, let me hop online and see if I'm an outlier. And no, when you dig into like websites based on geek culture, everybody fucking hates this show. There's just this general. There was one guy that on Reddit that I hate to use the phrase just because it's so non-politically correct, but he called it geek blackface.
Yeah,
and
I can see that.
God damn, you're, A, well, I'd never say that out loud, but B, you're not that far off. This is a fucking minstrel show about nerd culture, You know, you're just having these guys dancing around like, oh, I use Twitter, and the laugh track goes off.
Yeah.
So,
Oh,
so
look, an attractive woman looked at me. How ironic and weird.
yeah,
That would never happen. Yeah.
that's so great. Ha. So I hate it. I hate it. So
Yeah.
I respect the fact that you got a couple seasons out of it, but fuck that show. Fuck Chuck Lorre for making that show. Everything he touches, I hate. You know.
Yeah.
So.
Dig it.
It's not my thing, and if you're into it again, just more power to you. But you and I will never talk about that without me punching you in the neck.
You've been warned.
Right? Oh, fuck. So, who we got next? Idaho said The Simpsons were overrated.
Idaho's on crack. No, I will say, The Simpsons is one of those shows that it's always on somewhere.
Yeah.
So it's one of those you really can't escape it. But who would want to escape it? It's one of those shows that you can always just turn it. You can always just watch it. I think that it's just totally watchable.
Okay. And I remember whenever I lived in Grandview, like the early 90s, we'd all get together on Sunday nights and watch it together.
Yeah.
Remember, huddled up in front of that tiny ass little 13-inch
TV on the milk crate.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, absolutely. But that was also 20-some years ago, and the show is still on.
It's still on. Yeah.
I was blown away by that. Something I was looking at some charts that they pinpointed a couple years ago, said that just the Tree of Horror episodes now, there have been enough of those to make an entire season just out of those.
The Treehouse of Horrors are the best.
That's the highlight of the season. And
yeah,
after I stopped watching it, I would hop on at Halloween just to watch that. I mean,
right.
It's always fun. You know, it's a nice, fun little spoof.
Yeah. And actually, to be honest, I have not watched a recent episode of The Simpsons in several years. But it's one of those, I'm glad it's there.
Yeah, absolutely. It's
kind of like South Park.
Yes.
Like I don't have an opportunity to watch South Park as much as I would like, but I'm glad it's there.
I'm glad somebody is enjoying it for me.
You know?
But yeah, as far as overrated goes, yes. Holy shit. I mean, when that was 2 or 3 years old, literally Bart was on every product ever made.
Yeah.
You know,
the merchandising just went nuts.
Holy shit. Everything. I mean, I think at some point when I was in my 20s, I bought Bart condoms. You know? They're just everywhere.
Well,
I can only unroll up to Ikara, but you know it's the fact that it existed.
you know there's more.
Shut up, man.
Yeah, the merchandising for The Simpsons got out of control, but it seems like you don't see it as much anymore. I mean,
no.
They to the credit, they survived a major motion picture release.
True.
Which is usually a death sentence for lesser shows.
Yes.
And continue to be sort of timely and relevant.
Yeah, okay.
At least
I'll give you that.
To some audiences. But yeah, I will say that, I think just because it's the longevity, you know, the familiarity breeds contempt. It's been around forever.
True, yeah. I'll give you that. It's not a show that I dislike. It's just that and like you said, if I come across it, I'll sit and watch it. But it's not something I go out of my way to see anymore. And
yeah.
I have to give them credit. They did birth one of the best pinball machines ever made. That Simpsons pinball machine was fucking awesome.
Who had that? Where was that?
That was at Charlie's in Graceland.
Was it? Okay, Charlie's had it. That's right.
Yeah.
I knew it was a dive bar that we went to.
Yep. So every sitting there drinking, and every once in a while you hear "come again" when the kickback.
Come again.
When kickback. just a great machine.
It was a great bar.
Yeah, it was. I forget what it is now. Maybe a
I think it's a parking lot.
It's a credit union now.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a Taco Bell there, and
We
then
you started off as a Long John Silver's, didn't it?
yes, it did. Yes, that's why you had to walk the plank to get out of the bar at the end of the night.
Arrgh.
Yar! I'll be going home now, you mateys.
I'll be driving home with my one eye open.
Drive like a pirate day.
Steady as she goes.
Then yeah, it was a Taco Bell, and then like a workout place, and then it turned into it was a parking lot for a while, and I want to say there's a credit union there, but yeah, Charlie's was awesome. Going out for Charlie's.
Yeah.
Glug glug.
Glug glug.
Mm-hmm.
But a television show has, I think, the major event that signifies that a TV show has arrived is that when it's immortalized as a pinball machine.
Yes.
You can keep your fucking trophies. I'm a pinball machine. Come again.
Come again. Oh God, who's next on the shit list? Let's see. Louisiana was the next one alphabetically that broke rank, and they said The Office is overrated.
Now, I'm going to have to agree to an extent with Louisiana. I never got into The Office. I could never. It didn't take with me. I watched several episodes of the UK version, and it was very funny. Gervais is a genius. I see where he tried to this didn't translate well to the U.S. I think.
Yes, you nailed it.
It's got a very dry British humor in its DNA that I think was hard to replicate in the United States.
Yes.
And it came off as cruel, more cruel than it should have been.
Yes.
Whereas
and that's the thing. American audiences don't like that mean just for the sake of being mean type of humor.
Yeah. And that's kind of, I think, with the guy that played the boss, Steve Carell.
Oh, yeah.
He's very talented and very funny, but I think, he came off as not necessarily cruel to be cruel, but cruel and ignorant.
Yes.
Of his cruelty. Ignorant that, his ineptness was causing such despair. And it wasn't funny.
Nope, I agree wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
And that's another one that ran way longer than it should have. When his character left, they should have just wrapped it up and called it a day. But again, it was making money, so they're going to run it into the ground.
Yup.
And it's the same issue that a lot of sitcoms... going back to my point about Friends, the second you have the people hooking up and making relationships, it's just not as funny. The will they, won't they dichotomy is the bread and butter of sitcoms. The second they do, you've taken that out. You're not funny anymore, right?
Yeah. Now it's time to invite, here's Cousin Charlie. Quick, hire a kid to fill in, Let's get the neighbor kid. That's when they get the...
We need a funny mailman character.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yep.
Oh, quirky neighbor.
So, Louisiana, I think we both agree that, maybe you're right on that one, and it's a bit overrated. They should have gone the BBC route, be fucking mean, and then be gone in 3 years.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's the thing with BBC, too, is it's written like it's going to get canceled in a moment's notice.
Absolutely.
So, the story arcs are clean, concise, so the jokes hit harder. It's quicker. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
It just didn't work for me.
I agree. So, Louisiana, don't worry, Tom, and I agree with you.
Huzzah, Louisiana. Keep up the good work.
Now, before I take fucking South Carolina to task, I'd like to take a little break and let's pay some bills and get another 25 cents worth of ad money in.
Yes.
So we're going to be quiet here for a second. You get to listen to it now. It'll sound a lot like this because I'm reading it, and then we'll be back in a second to wrap things up with you. Don't I sound all serious and shit when I'm
You
selling
do.
stuff?
It's strange. Where do I send the check?
Right, but it's a free service. There is no check. They pay you.
Wow.
Not a lot, though. And
Daddy needs to make some calls.
That's not their fault. That's the lack of listeners' fault. So I put it on, not us. We're putting out a great show. It's the issues with the people not listening to us.
Yeah.
So
We've been saying that for years, though.
Yeah. Ironically, you'll never hear this, but fuck you for not listening.
Yeah. Tell a friend.
All right. So, anyways, South Carolina made the worst fucking pick on this list. They said the most overrated show was Breaking Bad.
Now, I don't know how to tell you this.
Oh,
And I never thought about it until I never thought I'd be on the spot like this. I've only ever watched the first episode of Breaking Bad.
Okay. So,
And the reason I didn't go any further was because it didn't take. And again, we were in Europe watching on British satellite, and so I think it disappeared. But based on that first episode, I was like, I'll watch the other. Well, I'll give it a shot, but I never had a chance to give it a shot. And then we moved back to the States, and it's available, and I've not watched it. My son's watched it, and he's like, "Oh my god, it's so great!" So he gets it. Everyone that I know has watched it and loves it, and everything I hear about it, it sounds absolutely fantastic. I don't know why I haven't watched it yet, because apparently it's fantastic.
Yes. All right. You officially have homework from this episode. I'm not saying that I will not talk to you until you watch all of it. But in the event that next month I need to find another co-host. No, I'm teasing.
Watch Breaking Bad.
Art is subjective. Blah, blah, blah. But no. I understand your predicament. South Carolina, however, cannot use that excuse. It was available to them on AMC all the time, so fuck you, South Carolina. Your son is right. It's a brilliant show, an amazing cast. Vince Gilligan is a fucking genius. And again, I don't see it as overrated because it only lasted 5 years, and there was one story. So it's not like they were stretching this beast out. In fact, the final season is only half size. Like they broke the fourth season into 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like 8 and 8. Yeah. So it's a super quick watch, but oh my god, there's so many great characters on that show. The direction is theater quality. It's like watching a movie for 60 hours or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And before you watch it, do a little bit of research on Breaking Bad color theory. Write that one down too. Get your plan.
My son mentioned that.
Yes, it's
He's
amazing.
Like, he picked up on that and just so many other little subtle things that would call back to 2 seasons earlier or 2 episodes. There was so much intricate networking of imagery and color, sound. It all played a huge role in the overall storytelling.
Yes.
Across the entire run of the show.
Yes.
That would call back to other things, in season 1. And it's like, oh, wait a minute, that's because of this, and that's
right.
The burn marks are the same, and and that, and it's like, oh my god. So he would come out of his room and like, you can't believe it. Oh my god. It's just such a good show.
Now thematically it does not remind me at all, but it reminds me of watching a Wes Anderson movie. Again, not because of the theme, because No single frame is wasted. Everything
Nice.
you see is there intentionally, and there's a reason for it being there. So
Okay.
it's just amazing. So highly recommend. Again, I think I think you'll appreciate it just watching it as a story, watching the arc that Walter goes through.
Yeah.
Better Call Saul, the prequel show, is just as good. You know, they got a lot of the same group behind the camera back, and it's
Yeah.
just the same quality. You know,
Huh.
so highly recommend. Highly recommend.
Right on. All right.
Yes.
I got homework. I'm on it.
You've got homework. So if we do this once a month, you can watch 60 hours of TV in 30 days.
Oh, what the hell? I'm working from home now. Shit, I'll just watch
Hey!
it tomorrow.
Yeah. Yeah, but so good, so good. Chills down my spine. You'll enjoy it. Just about 4 episodes in, you'll text me and say, "I feel like a terrible human for not watching this years before this."
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, so that's
Big Office Friends.
sadly that's all
That's
the shows
all.
that are on this list. Yeah. So
Okay. My question. Okay, so my question to you now is, what shows should have been on the list in your
Okay.
opinion?
I agree with some of the with Friends Office, Big Bang Theory. I would
Mhm.
also add to that list Two and a Half Men.
Oh yeah.
And again, that's a Chuck Lorre show. Same shit with Big Bang Theory. It's a laugh track, laughing hysterically at a sexual innuendo. That shit is not funny. It's 70s comedy at best. Go the
Yeah.
fuck away. And again, that's one that lasted for fucking ever. It may still be on, as far as I know. I have no idea.
It
But
might. I don't know.
Jesus Christ. But the only other one I could think of is, and I couldn't pin it to just one, so I'm going to say it's the subgenre of stand-up comedians that play the lovable goof with a really good-looking wife. Like King of Queens, Everybody Loves Raymond, Home Improvement, stuff like that.
Yeah.
All of those shows, in my opinion, should not be on TV.
So the stand-up comedy sitcom vehicles.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
They're not as funny as the stand up. They seem, because they're safe, they seem to go on for fucking ever.
Right.
And again, you know, you turn on TBS and they're always on.
It's true.
Yes. So all of those, it's like all of the shows that tried to be the honeymooners but weren't as funny.
Yeah. Nothing's as funny as the Honeymooners. That's
On
great
that,
television.
We can agree.
That's great
So-
TV.
What did you add for your overrated shows?
I don't think it's. I don't know if they're doing it still, like Will and Grace.
That might
Because
have
there
wrapped
was-
up. Yeah, it came back.
It came back, and there was a lot of hype about it, and I don't know if they're going to continue or not. But it was just a lot of hype about a show that the main characters, I mean, Will and Grace are like the least watchable thing in the show. It's the best part of the show is Jack and Karen.
Mm-hmm.
But I get it. They're extreme character, caricatures of that character type. So you couldn't have a Jack and Karen show because that
Right.
would get really old. But it just, I don't know. I think Will and Grace was one of those very hyped shows that came back and people were all excited about it. And I'm like, I don't get it. It wasn't that great when it was new or back in, back in the day. I don't know. I like Eric McCormick as an actor.
Mm-hmm.
There was a show on called, oh crap, what was it? Where they jump back in time.
How I Met Your Mother?
Oh my god, no! Fucking My Mother the Car. Dobie Gillis. It was,
Toby!
crap. Oh well. I can't remember it. Fuck it.
Okay.
Anyways, Will and Grace, overrated. Fuck off.
Strong choice, though. And I remember watching that during the first run. And
Yeah.
it's one of those things where, like, if I happen to be on the couch and it was on, I think that was, like, in that NBC, like, big-ass block of sitcoms that they had.
Right.
So I
It's like,
kind of... I got nothing to do for the next 30 minutes until whatever's on after this comes on, so I might as well watch it kind of thing.
right. I don't know. The thing is, we cut the cord. We cut cable a couple of years ago, so I really don't know what is on television. I don't know.
That's fair. I'll tell you what's going to be on your television.
Fucking Breaking Bad. Better believe it.
It's true. All right. Now, I thought something that'd be interesting to look at. What's on your flip side? Have you got something that's underrated that more people should have watched but didn't?
That's currently available?
No,
Or
just
that, like,
throughout the
in the
course
past?
of time. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Damn. Um, there was a bunch of stuff that we used to watch that like lasted a season. Oh, shit. Oh, I can't remember the damn name of it. They were like they died. They became Reapers.
Oh, oh shit! That was an HBO show.
HBO or Showtime, and it was Mandy Patinkin was in it.
Yes, Dead Like Me.
Dead Like Me.
Yes. Oh my god, that
Dead
was a
Like Me.
great show.
Completely underrated, and I don't know why or how it didn't become
Oh,
just
that
a
was
huge show. It was
so
absolutely brilliant.
good. Yes. Oh my god, thank you. You know what? I would rewatch that again. That was a lot of fun.
They did a movie,
Oh, it was
and
terrible.
it was kind of lousy.
Oh,
It was
so
yeah.
bad, dude.
Yeah. So don't watch that. Just watch the show.
I forgot about that. Wow, good call.
Yeah, the first season is some of the best television I think that I've ever seen. It's just such a cool story. They created such an interesting world
Yes.
that makes sense, and it's logical, and it's fantastical, and it works. And, yeah, so that's
And
like
plus, Mandy Patinkin can do no wrong.
Mandy Patinkin. Come on.
Come on. Oh, so good. I forgot about that. All right, on my list, the first one I had was Farscape.
You know, I feel bad. I watched like the first 3 or 4 seasons of that, and for some reason stopped. But I absolutely loved Farscape, and I don't know why I quit watching it.
It was amazing. I mean, you had a great... The overall story was so weird
Yeah.
and like you said, fantastical.
Mm-hmm.
You had to like it. And you had the Henson group was doing the puppeteering on it.
Doing fantastic stuff.
Yes, it was so good. Now, it was a sci-fi show, so of course they fucking murdered it before it was able to, gain any traction. And the fans were so outraged that they had like a little mini series to sort of wrap things up, but it wasn't quite the same. That was a show that should have been on for a good decade.
Yeah, I could totally see that should be, this country's Red Dwarf.
Oh my god, yes! Wow.
Okay, maybe not Red Dwarf. That's. I don't think America's ready for Red Dwarf.
Wow. But yeah, it was an amazing show, and I was so let down when it went away. And it was something that you couldn't at the time talk about because nobody fucking watched it.
Nobody else watched it, right?
Oh, now I see why sci-fi canceled it. Oh,
Yeah.
it all makes sense now. Sorry.
What else? There's a.
I'll tell you what. You know what else I had on my list? And again, I don't know how popular this was, but I put The Good Place down as underrated.
Yeah, I don't know how popular that was either, but we absolutely loved it.
I thought it was a great show, and again, thematically it was nothing like Parks and Rec, but it was that same feel. It felt good watching it.
Right. And it was, it was just brilliantly quirky,
Yep.
funny but smart. Again, they built a fantastic world
Yes.
that it was believable, and yeah, I thought it was just great. And
Yeah.
Ted Danson.
Ted Danson, dude. I mean, it was smart. It was witty. It was just weird enough. Like the corners of the screen were just bizarre when you looked at the entire world that they had created.
Mm-hmm.
But I absolutely love that show.
Yeah, I totally concur. I don't know how popular it was because it was by that time we were all watching it on a streamer. So it
Right.
yeah, I don't know, but it should have gained more popularity. It wasn't as popular as it should have been.
Amen to that. Amen. um, now, the next couple on my list are BBC shows, so they may have been popular over there, but they didn't last very long. So the first one, and I mentioned this on Facebook last week, it just showed back up on Hulu, so nobody with Hulu has any excuse not to watch it, but it's a show called Misfits.
Oh my God! Yeah, that's right. I saw you posted that.
Yes.
That's an old show from the BBC. Old. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, yeah, I remember when that first aired over there because we were there, and it is absolutely brilliant.
Yes, it is so fucking bonkers.
Oh yeah,
So
it's so great.
I was trying to describe it to my brother. I'm like, dude, I said, just trust me and watch it on this. I said, it's more, and if you can say realistic when it comes to superpowers, I said it's a realistic view of what would happen if superpowers became like quote unquote real. Most of them are shitty, and nobody knows what to do with them.
Yep.
And nobody is out saving the world. They're just like
no, they're just
themselves.
Trying to get through the day.
Yeah.
just trying to do their fucking detention.
But
that's
my God.
The fun part is, they're all there for
community service.
Community service. Your court-ordered community service.
But so good.
Yeah, that's a good call. Misfits really overrated. It was, again, I don't know how popular it was in the UK. It had 3 seasons, I think.
5.
5.
Yeah. It actually wraps up at the very end, too.
Okay. Because I know that the cast changed considerably over the course of the run. I think that's probably why I stopped watching or lost track of it. Because what happens, the way the UK does stuff is they'll do 8 episodes of a series, and then it'll be like a year and a half before they do another one.
Right, yeah. Like Doctor Who.
Like Doctor Who or like Sherlock.
Yep.
With Cumberbatch. So they'll do a chunk, and then it'll be a year and a half, 2 years before they do another bit. So it's easy to kind of lose track of stuff.
Understandable, especially when your seasons are so short. It's not like here in the States where, and again, this is all changed now thanks to streaming, but when we were younger, you had new shows up until about Memorial Day, and then Labor Day the season picked back up again. It was
right. That cliffhanger.
Yes.
Who shot JR?
Right.
Okay.
Oh shit. My other BBC pick though was Fresh Meat. It's on Amazon Prime now. I think it was a BBC 4 show.
Okay.
But
Fresh Meat.
Yeah, it's these college kids that are living in off-campus housing, and it's this beautiful, cringy comedy about 18, 19-year-olds trying to fit into the world and just in the people that they live with. Most of the characters are these huge caricatures of people that you probably know,
right.
But it's so witty and funny, and everybody is just out for themselves. There's no big arc where the nerd is cool all of a sudden and the self-centered guy is all of a sudden caring and warm and friendly.
Yeah.
No, they start as assholes, they end as assholes, and they just randomly do nice stuff for each other here and there.
Right on.
But that is the only TV show I've ever been able to sit through 4 like runs where I'll watch it
Yeah.
beginning to end 4 times. It's
Damn.
so good.
Wow. Fresh Meat.
Fresh Meat.
I've not heard of it. It's on Hulu.
Yes.
Check it out.
Yeah. And the last one on my list is one I know you will 100% agree with me. It should be just stamped to be always on television. Legends of Tomorrow.
Oh God, yeah. That show is so fucking ridiculous. Yeah, that should be required viewing for every human being.
Except for like the second season or whenever it was when when they were trying to figure out where they fit in.
Yeah.
It started off a little rough.
It started off just a little stoic. Season one,
I think they were trying to transition from the other shows that everybody was on. Season 2 was just kind of shitty. But then it's like the writer said, you know what, fuck it. We're going to get canceled at some point.
Yeah.
Let's go balls to the walls, weird.
Mm-hmm. Hey, did you ever want to do a show about this? Let's do it.
Right.
Okay.
And
like, hey, Billy, what do you want to see a superhero do? I want to see this. Okay.
Oh God, I love everybody in the cast. I love all the characters. I'm sad when they leave, and it's just you're rooting for these underdogs all the time.
Yeah, but they're the moniker. They're legends of. They're the biggest bunch of fuck ups. But they've got this huge and that weighs on them. It's like, oh my God, we're legends, but we haven't done shit right yet.
Right.
But that's what we do.
Yeah, I mean they're constantly fucking up. They're C-list superheroes at best, since Hawkman and Hawkwoman left.
Oh my God.
But just it's a fun show to watch, and again, it always seems like it's teetering on being canceled. And so the writers just do not give a shit what happens to them.
It is. They're just having the times of their lives. I mean, it's just the funnest. You can just tell that everybody involved in that show is having a ball.
Absolutely, yes.
And it totally translates into what you watch.
Yes, and I love how aware everybody on the show is. It's all tongue in cheek. Like, where's Sarah this week? Oh, she's at the crossover that we didn't get invited to again this year.
Right. Oh, we missed the crossover?
It's just so great. And yes, you're absolutely right. It looks like they're just having a blast filming that.
Yeah.
And that carries
good
over.
call.
Thanks, man. Yes, it should be buried in Emmys.
It should. I don't know why.
Mm-hmm. So that's what I had. And again, I've loved television all my life. We're in a golden age of it now. There's so much available.
Oh my God, there's so much content, and that's I think, and that's kind of off-putting, I think, for a lot of people, because most folks, I don't think, know where to start. I mean, we've our generation was raised on having 3 channels, and then we had cable. And now we've got the entire world of is available, and it's like, holy crap, where do you go? It's like we've got the golden ticket. We're inside Wonka, and it's like, shit. Do I eat their flour, or do I swim in the chocolate lake?
That's a great way to look at it, and yeah, I agree with you. It's hard to dive into something, and I think that's why stuff like The Office and Friends did so well on Netflix. You have these people that weren't even alive when it was on originally will sit and watch the entire run, but it's safe. As you're flipping through trying to find something to watch, you're like, holy shit, 286 episodes?
Yeah.
Something about this must be right. I'll go ahead and give it a try.
Right? And that's the thing, when you're cruising through Netflix or Hulu and you look, it's like, oh, this show, wow, okay, 6 seasons. Mm-hmm. All right, well, it can't suck too bad.
Right? Absolutely.
People are dumb, but come on. Not 6 years worth of crap dumb.
Yeah. Unless it's an American show, in which case, yes, we are that dumb.
That's true.
We're awful consumers. But
Yeah.
dude, I'm so glad we did this because now I want to go back and watch Dead Like Me again.
And I'm going to watch Breaking Bad.
Yeah, dude, you should.
And Farscape.
Oh God, I
forgot about-
tried to watch it a couple years ago. It was on Netflix. I'm like, holy shit, I loved this show. I love the theme song. I love Crichton. So I started
That blue
watching
chick
it.
was hot.
So I get about a season and a half into it. I'm like, I am digging this. And it was right at the end of the month, and it just went and dropped off the face of the earth.
Shit.
I'm like, oh, I don't love you enough to go out and try and find the DVDs on eBay. So I guess, I'll wait for the cycle to spin around. And come back.
It's going to make the rounds. It'll be on Amazon, and then it'll be over here, and then it'll be back on Hulu.
Right. It'll be somewhere sometime. Yeah, so yeah, we're in a great time to be a consumer of TV shows. That's for sure.
Yeah, and good thing because we're all we can't go out, so we may as well tune in.
Yeah, absolutely. Consume.
Consume. This is your god.
Oh shit.
Hey, we need to do this, but like a movie episode
Of overrated, underrated movies?
Yeah.
I like that. Let's see. I'm just pulling up that random user on IMDb,
Yeah.
and he does have. Let's see.
He seems self-important enough to have created a list for that.
Most watched cartoons of all time.
Oh yeah, see, we could do cartoons.
I'd wreck that shit. That's the only list that I want to talk about that he has, because the rest of it's kind of creepy and pervy. Yeah.
Oh God, 'tis the season.
Truly. But yeah, man, let's movies would be fun.
Yeah.
We could even try and be thematic, and in December we could have the most overrated, underrated Christmas movies of all time.
Yeah. we could do that.
I'm gonna write that down.
Christmas movie, Christmas specials. We can do Christmas presents. Sure.
Christmas presents.
Fucking underwear again.
The 10
Shit,
worst
Ma.
Christmases at Grandma's house.
Oh, these pizzelles are from last year.
Oh, I would eat your old pizzelles and enjoy every moment of it.
Yep, I bet you would. We talking about the same thing.
Yeah, those big Italian cookies. Yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. See, I didn't come from an Italian family, so they weren't readily available to us. So if I saw a broken one in the street, I'm fucking taking it. I didn't have it like you did.
Get it before some bird swoops down.
Oh, Christ. Okay. Well, since we've come to the show now where you're just placating me, I
am.
I think we've checked all the boxes. Pretty much most of the country doesn't know what the hell they're talking about. We agreed with one here and there, and just absorb more content. Don't make anything. Don't be a creator. Just absorb.
Right. Don't move.
Right.
Don't move.
There's
Stay
enough
sedentary.
art in the world.
Yeah. Don't be that. Don't be that guy. Don't create shit. Just eat.
Be a background character on Wall E.
Yeah. Just buy bigger spoons and wider gauge straws. That's all you need.
That 6 generations from now, humans will be able to unhinge their jaws like boas just so they can eat more food.
I'm totally on board with that. In fact, I'm sure there's a guy in California that can make that happen.
Dude, I bet he's
Tijuana,
on Craigslist
maybe.
just waiting for you right now.
Yep. But there's a place just south of the border, San Diego.
We can order like a big pizza or something. Like, nah, don't put it in a box. Just lay it down on the counter and turn away.
You may want to avert your eyes.
You cannot unsee what's about to happen.
Don't look directly at it.
Oh, fuck. All right, so I think we've come to a good point to wrap things up, and
Yeah.
but we got everything we wanted to accomplish done. So we'll let everybody listen to a couple seconds of AVs, and we'll go about our merry ways.
That sounds like a good idea. Hey, if you want, folks, go ahead and weigh in on what we might use to replace our theme songs. If you want to vote on that.
Are you a musician looking to not get paid?
Yeah. Something with like a rockin' flute.
Like Ian Anderson is listening to the show
Yeah.
right now. It's like,
Oh, yeah, Mr. Anderson. Sure. Just a few bars. Bam. There you go.
that's all we
You get
need.
the end.
But yeah, if anybody has any ideas, hey, my brother bought some fucked up effects pedal for his bass. So Andy, when you listen to this, we need like 40 seconds of music. So write that down. Unless you're driving, then you keep your eyes on the road and your hands upon the wheel, young man.
Mm-hmm. 10 and 2.
There you go. All right, it's late. I'm almost at a red stripe, so I think it's time we pull the plug on this monster.
Do it.
Okay, so good night, everyone. Thank you for another. What are we at? 8 episodes now.
8.
And
Yeah.
hope to see you again soon.
Ciao.
Put it right there.